It's me and Shecky with another Smodco deal. That's right. It's me and Shecky rocking the mic. You can hear her caller, man. Let's see if we can get her to sing. Oh, that's such a pretty singing voice. That's right, man. Shecky's here to tell you that there's tickets for sale that you can be buying to support your Smodco family, man. You like the free podcast? Well, every once in a while, you gotta pay. Your first taste is free, man. Then when you want to see it in person, you gotta give us your money. And that's what I'm here to ask for. Give me your money. It's like a robbery with no gun. Give me your money. Just a really threatening note and a sneer on my face, and it's my tone of voice. Give me your money. This ain't robbery. You're not getting something taken for nothing. No, heavens, you give us something, we give you something, man. You give us some of your money, your hard-earned dollars, which we appreciate, and we put on a Smodco show for you, man. Want to know where they're at? Want to see them? Go to csmod.com, SEESMOD.com, and you'll find information like this. This Friday, they won't do that, man. Me and Ralph Garman return to our new home of Hollywood Babble-On at the Hollywood Improv right there on Melrose, 10 p.m. this Friday, June 21st. Watch me and Ralph ripping the shit out of these Hollywood assholes, of which we are too. That's June 21st, man. The very next night, Saturday night, if you're in San Francisco, the Bay Area, man, San Francisco treat is going to be me and Jason Mewes doing Jay and Silent Bob's super groovy cartoon movie and doing a podcast afterwards. Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. Two shows in one, man. This was moved from, I think, earlier, last month or earlier in the tour. Here it is, the makeup date, June 22nd at the Warfield, man. Tickets at csmod.com. It's very next night after the June 21st Hollywood Babble-On in Los Angeles. You skip on up to San Francisco, you see Jay and Silly Bob in a cartoon, and then you see me and Mewes on stage making merry right afterwards. Okay, man, the following week after that, don't forget we're right back at the Improv for Babble-On. I'm far more regular schedule now. Ralph's done shooting. I'm currently not touring, so you'll get more Babble than you can contend with, man. And it's 10 o'clock, June 28th. Order your tickets at csmod.com right now. Looking down the road, man, July, Florida. Smodco coming to smear itself all over the Sunshine State, man. Jay and Silent Bob Super Groovy Cartoon Movie going to play at the Plaza Live July 5th. That would be the day after July 4th, man. So you're winding down after 4th of July. Come see me and Jason Mewes show you Jay and Silent Bob Super Groovy Cartoon Movie. Do Jay and Silent Bob Get Old podcast right afterwards. That's July 5th at the Plaza Live in Orlando. July 6th, the very next day, we're going to St. Pete, son. St. Petersburg to the Palladium Theater, July 6th. Jay and Silent Bob Super Groovy Cartoon Movie and a Jay and Silent Bob Get Old podcast right after. Tickets on sale right now at csmod.com. The very next day, July 7th, we're slamming at home, man, in Florida. We're leaving in a big bad way. I'm bringing the beard guy with me, man. Why, Bry? Perform live at the Florida SuperCon down there in Miami. It's going to be a 6:30 p.m. show, July 7th. So there you go. 3 opportunities in Florida. Bang, bang, bang. Orlando, St. Pete's, and then St. Petersburg, and then, of course, Miami, with me and Bryan Johnson wrapping up the mini Florida tour with Bry. July 12th, that same week, of course, we're back in Hollywood for Hollywood Babble-On. I guess we're off the previous week, yeah, because I'll be doing a show. I guess that's my fault. And then, don't forget, man, you're going to have more Babble than you can shake a stick at. If you're going to the San Diego Comic-Con, July 19th, man, there's going to be a Babble-On at the House of Blues. That's where it is. I forgot I spaced. Me and Ralph doing the 3rd annual Hollywood Babble-On Comic-Con right there, man. Friday, July 19th, 11 p.m. And then Austin, Texas, we're coming to you in July. And then we're also coming to Louisville, Kentucky, and we're also going to Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh, what merry times these will be. So check us out, man. For tickets for all this and these and all many other shows and whatnot, go to csmod.com. Enough of my yammering. Now another fine Smodco podcast to tickle your ear, pussy. The licking was gross, wasn't it?
You want a podcast? I got a Smodcast. You want a podcast? I got a Smodcast. You want a podcast? Mo, Scotty Mo. It's about time to lose your shit. Everybody spark a split for that legend Kevin Smith.
Welcome to Smodcast. I'm Kevin Smith. Hey man, Scott Moser's still out of town working on his Turkey's picture coming to theaters just in time for Thanksgiving and whatnot. So while he's in Dallas, there have been a bunch of different people in the seat, including Harley last week. This week, man, we sit down, talked to many times before he started his podcasting career here on Smodcast, and then he went and forged his own fortune with a show called Tell Him Steve Dave, and now he's a goddamn fucking television star. Mm-hmm. Give it up for Big Bry Johnson.
Here I am. I can't believe I carved time out of my schedule.
What's up, sir?
Not much. We don't have this kind of fancy microphones and shit back at the stash.
You played a commercial for me, the Hulu spot that you recorded with Sage the other day, and you played it on your iPad, and it sounded like it was recorded in a fucking airport. It was just so vacuous and loud.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big room here at the stash that you guys record Tell 'em Steve Dave. And here, this room used to be larger than the library, but now I halved it with a wall, so you know, it's tighter. You can control more of the sound. It's not like it was up in the living room.
There aren't customers squeaking racks and asking questions and shit like that.
No, but there's a customer. I guess I don't know if you can call them customers, but people that download the podcast bitching about the sounds of nature that they hear now. Like, I don't know if you hear it now. Let's see. Not too much. There's a tree right outside my window. And it's fucking full of parakeets or some such shit. And they're always fucking happy that the day is here and shit. So unless we record the podcast at night, generally you're going to hear some chirping. I mean, I've been doing it now.
There's like a rogue nightingale fucking out there.
Totally. Or some kind of macaw or a fucking, one of those birds that steal shiny things. Magpies.
Magpie, yeah. Heckle and Jekyll.
They're like, oh dear. Let's go in and steal the fat man's fleshlight. Yeah, let's do that.
And credibility as a podcaster.
Someone on Twitter, and it wasn't someone, dude, it was a few people, have gone out of their way to be like, what are you recording a show in a fucking aviary? What's with all the birds? And you know, you're like, well, I mean, I guess I could stop and explain, like, I record usually with the window open so I could smoke and I don't, you know, smoke the other people, box them out of my room and whatnot. And in doing so, there are birds and you maybe hear birds and shit. It's not a bird free world, man.
No.
You can't get away from it.
And you'd be sorry if it was. Like with the bees. Everybody's real worried about bees now.
Because they're disappearing.
They're disappearing, and I guess they contribute a lot more.
They're the linchpin. Mm-hmm. Einstein. You know what? I'm not going to say Einstein. Einstein. There's been a quote attributed to Einstein many times over, which if you go to Snopes, they're like, it's not true. He didn't say this. But nevertheless, it is true. The sentiment. It's just true. He didn't say it himself. When people thought Einstein said it, they were like, holy fuck, run! Because he was the smartest ever. Even though most people don't know what Einstein's really smart or well known for.
Theory of relativity was the only thing I was really positive about.
Which is what? Exactly.
That and,
you have to explain that to somebody. What is that?
Oh, it's the E equals MC squared, which is something equals matter times C times.
I'm a dumbass. That still means nothing to me. It's like,
fuck Einstein.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's like, he's so smart. I'm like, if he's so smart, he could have come up with a better way for us to explain this E equals MC squared.
He also lent his expertise in the bomb, right? And he,
was he involved?
Helped build, the Manhattan Project.
Manhattan Project? Mm-hmm. Or based on his calculations. I don't think he was there overseeing it, but I think they use the theory of relativity or E equals MC squared to get to the atom bomb. And then he was just like, why did I tell them? And one of those Rick Gruff. I don't know if that was his voice. Do you remember? I remember there was a movie with Walter Matthau in it.
And he was Einstein?
He played Einstein and fucking like, it was a beloved story. It's like Einstein's nephew or niece falls in love or some such shit. And in the trailer, which played on TV ad nauseum, they had him go, you will know when you're in love when you yell, wahoo. That was their big selling point, was wahoo. And I remember telling Flanagan one night, he's like, what'd you do last night? I said, I went to the movies. He's like, what'd you see? And I said, I think it was called IQ, the movie, or something like that. But it was that movie with Walter Matthau as Einstein. And he looked at me with such fucking derision and then fucking was like, wahoo? The fucking Wahoo movie?
Because it was on, like, the trailer. So Every 2 minutes, yeah.
But I'm like, I didn't make it, Walt. I just went to see it. Like,
was he with his wife at that point?
He was with her.
Because he had discovered Wahoo. He should have been able to fucking
some love,
empathize. Yeah, relate to that.
I mean, maybe for him, he's like, love for me wasn't Wahoo. Like, he's like, Wahoo is reductive and reduces love to a buzz phrase.
IQ is everything that's wrong with the world of romance.
Einstein is said to have said this. Go back to what I was saying, but I don't think he's truly the guy who said it. If the bees die, humanity has about 100 years left, because bees, of course, as we know, pollinate fucking everything. Mm-hmm. Turns out all those years, man, Raid was selling fucking kill the bees, get them out of here, kill that hive. But without bees, we're absolutely fucked, and the bee population is in flux, and there's a lot of hive disease. They've listed recently, there's an article listing the reasons, and a lot of people are like, it's cell phones. The cell phones are killing the bees. You selfish prick. You got to call your mother and you're killing a bee. And apparently cell phones play very little. It comes from sort of a,
I'm more worried about brain cancer than a fucking bee getting killed from a cell phone call.
Yeah, really. They're like, fucking, this bee is alive, but you have brain cancer. You're like, I don't see how this worked out.
Fucking really? Einstein didn't mention this?
Yeah, how come?
He mentioned honeybees?
So, like, to be fair, Einstein never said the first thing either. You're like, well, fucking Snopes didn't say that. No, did it? If they go, apparently, nobody's pollinating the flowers, grass ain't growing, cows ain't eating. It's one of those trickle down things. Like, take this one thing out. It's the reverse of the frogs in The Simpsons. You bring a frog to Australia, fucking the whole country would be run over by frogs. This is the opposite of this somehow.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah, I'm using the Simpsons scale. I was like, how true shit is on a cartoon, right? It's like that.
It says here, pollinators like honeybees are crucial to the U.S. food supply, and about $30 billion a year in agriculture depends on their health. That's a lot of money.
And it's not like the farming community is doing great to begin with.
No.
The farming community has been doing poorly for the last fucking 20 years, man. Like going back to the first.
So Farm Aid didn't
do it. It wasn't a cure-all. Yeah, it wasn't like they were like Live Aid really worked out. If we just have one fucking fundraiser, we'll save every farm. No, it continues to be the American farm worker and the American farm owner continue to be always like at the threshold of being out of work altogether.
Well, who the fuck wants to be a farmer anymore? I mean, can you imagine a worse job?
I bet you now there are more people that are like, yeah, man. Like think about like 70s and 80s. Most people are like into themselves. I mean, most people are into themselves now, but they're like, ew, get away from the earth, man. Fucking like bigger is better and fucking plastic and fucking build shit and fucking motherfucking tools or whatever. It's not for another 20 years that people are like recycle, organic, fucking, you can't keep making plastic, ozone, all these buzzwords and whatnot. So at that point,
Wahoo.
Yeah, Wahoo goes out the door. Now at that point, you got, I think, a lot more people who are like Mother Earth and shit like that. And like, I would like to do something that helps out in some way or reduce my carbon footprint. So I bet you would find some.
Until it's like, what? It's fucking 4:30 in the morning. I got to fucking milk a cow. Then I got to go fucking deal with chickens shitting out their eggs.
I've been thinking about
and then
this.
Fucking, who knows, you walk in, there's a fox in there and he attacks you, he's rabies.
Yeah, you never account for that. No. Whenever you're sitting there going, a farmer. Yeah, maybe I'll be a farmer. Nobody ever sits you down and goes like, you can get bit by a rabid fox.
Yeah, like worst case scenario is the fox takes your fucking chicken and you're like, fuck, all right, I got to go buy another chicken.
And you see it. Not just that it takes it.
Like he's in the distance.
Yes. And the chicken's looking back at you like, why? You weren't strong enough.
Or you dropped the ball. Motherfucker.
So this chicken turns out to be like every other motherfucker in your life.
Like almost like a retarded child that the fox just carried away.
No, he's fucking to the chicken. Even the chicken's disappointed in you going like,
oh yeah.
You fucking failed.
No big surprise.
You said anyone could farm. Like, I feel bad that the fox is stealing my chicken, number one. However, it's a pretty mouthy chicken.
Yeah, I'm not that sorry. I mean, if a chicken had to go.
I mean, this chicken was hell on my self-esteem.
You don't even remember. Did that fox take a chicken?
Fucking, you know what?
Don't even tell the farmer's wife. When
Don't tell anyone I said this, but fucking good. And more like that. 'Cause a little sooner the mouthy ones get out of here, a little easier it is for the rest of us. Am I right?
Yeah, if the other chickens see my indifference to him getting carried off by a fox.
Chickens are like, he started sympathetic, but he turned it around. I'm afraid. None of us are safe.
Or like if you watch like Napoleon Dynamite, it looks like an airplane hangar full of fucking chickens.
Right.
And there's like dead chickens in there that you just haven't come across in the past, I don't know, weeks, so they stink. And the other one's like, nope, chickens peck each other to death. Like all of a sudden out of nowhere, they start bullying.
Well, if that's why they have to space them apart and put them in those headlock things. Cause if they're left close to, I guess
it's for your own good.
Yeah. They're like, see this hell on earth. This is so you don't kill each other before we kill you. It's so bad, dude. I've been thinking about food consumption a lot lately in terms of like, remember Mark Zuckerberg was like, I'm only going to fucking kill things. I'm only going to eat things I kill for the next year. And at first you were like, you savage fucking animal. And then you're like, oh, I understand. He's like, it's easy to go, give me a burger and not think about where it came from. He's like, if I want a burger, I'm going to have to kill something to eat it. And
he's running around with a bow and arrow.
Yeah. He's just, and he's like, if I'm doing this, he's just like, the sky's the limit. So if you look good to me, I might shoot you and try to eat you.
Right. He could get away with it too. He's Zuckerberg.
Or could you imagine if Zuckerberg was like, I don't want to eat all of you, but your leg looks delicious. Can I buy it for $15 million? Oof. What would you do if Zuckerberg was like $15 million for one of your legs? He's going to get a fucking metal leg. Like, how old are you? 45? He's like, what more do you need that leg for?
He's like,
I want to eat it.
Oh yeah. Well, he takes the bum leg.
He'll take the bum leg. He'll take either fucking leg. He won't even, he's like,
what about my middle leg, bitch?
Yeah. He's just like, well, maybe fucking.
Funny, real funny.
Yeah. Fuck you, bro. Which leg has parts in it?
Left leg. Left leg. Yeah. So it'd be like, he'd be eating titanium and shit.
So he wouldn't want that leg.
Probably not. Yeah, it's probably like a lot of scar tissue in there and shit.
What do you do at that point? Do you fucking, like, if you can sell, he doesn't want the leg that's got the parts in it. Cause it's like, look, if I'm going to fucking buy it, I want as much good meat as possible.
Right. He's got to survive the winter.
He's like, my theory. I'm not going to go out and buy a hamburger. You are my hamburger. He's like, this gotta last me.
You are my hamburger. Looking down.
Like I am. Well, not you, but your leg, the juicy one.
I never thought I'd meet Mark Zuckerberg. And now that I have.
You're like, at first you're like, yeah, man, fucking what? I don't know. $15 million. I'll be set for life. Fuck this fucking leg. Then you meet the guy and you get a little starstruck where you're like, I wish we were friends and not just that he wanted to eat my leg.
Yeah, like I could help him find somebody else's leg, maybe like a finder's fee.
Yeah,
that isn't quite the 15 million. But
and he's just like, look, but it was about your leg. He's like, finder's fee.
We're not friends.
He's like, the only reason we're having this conversation is because I think it'd be fucked up to buy and eat your leg.
You're slightly more human than a chicken.
You're like, Mark. He's like, see? 15 million for the leg with less titanium in it.
15 million plus he has to get me top of the line prosthetic leg. Not like Blade Runner.
Fair enough too. Totally. He's not, he's like, oh my God, I know everybody. So I'll get you the fucking good shit, man. He's like in interchangeable parts too. He's like, you'll be like Maskatron, the Bionic Man doll. He's like, you could swap out like somewhat normal looking leg to little fucking peg, like pirate peg leg if you want. One of
like
them's
around Halloween.
One's a meat hook. A bunch of different interchangeable legs and stuff. 15 mil. How old are you? 45.
Yeah.
What do you figure? Like best case scenario, you got another 35 years?
Ooh, that's generous.
I'm giving you the 80 or is my math correct? Yes. So I don't know. You got to figure you've lived most of your life.
Over half, probably.
Yeah. And when are you ever going to fucking come? Like, I'll be honest with you, kids. Nobody ever walks in and goes, $15 million. Like, that's rare. Just because Bry makes podcasts doesn't mean he has access to that kind of money. Just because I've made movies doesn't mean I've ever had access. Nobody's ever paid me $15 million.
We're constantly trolling the internet on the black market looking to sell legs and body parts.
Totally. We're like, who wants this? I'm done with it. What a story.
Yeah, I think I'd contemplate it.
Like, and also just like, I mean, I'd be like, well, can I be there when you eat it? Can I Instagram it?
Vine. 6-second video. Mark Zuckerberg eating my leg.
He's like, why don't you use Facebook app?
Sorry, Mark.
Sorry, dude. This is fine. So easy. All right. So, going way the fuck back though. I was reading this thing about milk, something I never really thought about before. They're talking about how the article was like, can America's spoiled milk mean, the future of Chinese cheese or something like that? As China opens up like crazy and become more of, they look less like a communist nation and more like 1960s/70s America. A lot of middle class all of a sudden happening and whatnot. I guess they're and there's 1 billion or more. I guess they're consuming a lot more dairy with, in the piece, which was like PBS, I think it was like the News Hour piece, McNeil Lehrer News Hour. But I don't think it's called McNeil Lehrer anymore. But anyway, they talked about like, as these cats come into more money, it's no longer like rice and fish, a very basic diet. Now they're like
shredded newspaper.
Yeah. Like rice, fish, and the New York Times. Now they're like, I guess as one comes up in the world, you start putting more dairy into your diet. I guess it's weird because we were raised with milk and shit, but there's a place in this world where people are like, oh, fucking milk. Fucking hell, where are you going? Whose dick are you sucking?
I've been fucking staying at the Muse's house. Fucking, that's the place where.
Is it really? What's it like at the Muse's house?
It's interesting, man. It's interesting to see one Muse in such a nice house, coming from, his roots and shit.
It is a nice house.
Seeing him as a married man, henpecked.
Like that is, yeah. I guess henpecked is a term. Here it is. He's got a boss and the boss happens to be his wife. And you sit there going, is that good for the relationship? But then you remember there was a time where she wasn't his boss and he was behind her back.
Happened.
Yeah. He was behind her back. Fucking, he blew all their money on drugs. I mean, go listen to episode 1 through last week of Jay and Silent Bob Get Old, the podcast. You'll hear how fucking terrible he was about that. So, when she was like, instead of leaving him like she could have, when she was like, all right, I'm going to stay with this motherfucker, she kind of took over. Yeah. And he's fucked forever in as much as, and not in a bad way, but fucked in a good way. Like it's almost as if he cheated on her. You know what I'm saying? Like if he's
given no quarter now,
none whatsoever. And it's the leash is tight and it's just like, you wanted me back. So fucking this is the price and shit. But he didn't cheat on her. He did, well, one could argue probably way worse. Blew all their finances, took all those drugs, lied about it the whole time and shit. So she's very much in control over there. And to be fair, you can't argue with the results. He's coming up on 3 years clean. He produced a fucking movie for Christ's sakes. Like, with her behind him or with her hand slipped up his puppet ass. He's turned into a very productive member of society.
I'm telling you, I look at her, I'm like, she's beautiful, she's smart, she's organized. I'm like, I start coveting her. Like I'm sitting there, I'm like, how about me and you? I'm gonna fucking slip a little fucking arsenic into Muse's drink.
Fuck, I lost my train of thought. That was a good cough. That was one of those rare stoner coughs where I was like, oh my God.
I'm even higher.
Yeah, there's another place. There's an attic.
So I can't kill him. Can't kill Muse. Mm-mm. I'm not even covering her for real, but she's great. I really like her a lot.
I don't even know how she found, like, I know him and I think he's charming and awesome and shit like that.
It's crazy, right?
I don't know what fucking all the planets had to align for the one moment where she was like, all right.
I guess I won't go to law school and now that I've graduated UCLA. But I was talking to her about it yesterday and she's like, I don't regret any decisions that I made. She's like very happy that cause she feels like she's a happier person now than she would have been otherwise.
And she's clearly very much in love with him as well.
Yeah.
Which, like you would, for as much as we're like, she bosses him around and all that shit. She does that, but she
also dotes on him. Yeah.
Dotes on him. Yeah. And it's weird to see her go from almost Vulcan, which is her demeanor at all times, kind of like that is illogical, Captain.
Right.
to like, where he's like, hey, kitty, really, you man, big kitty, and she's like, and then he fucking,
I'm like, what the fuck's going on here?
Then he makes her fucking do shit like kitty, like clean your face, kitty. And she fucking licks her hand, and then she'll fight it for a while going, I don't want to do that. And he's like, you kitty. And then she licks her hand and fucking wipes her face. And you can tell as she's doing it, she's just like, nobody will respect me as the head of this company if they see me clean.
I have an IQ of 170. It's funny though to watch him. He's still to this day, and I look at her and I'm like, she seems fucking airtight, solid. I would never be like, she's going to cheat on me. I don't think I would worry about it.
Yeah.
And I don't think he really does either, but he's still
programmed.
He still can't deal with like, we were talking about it today. She's not allowed to wear pajamas if people are coming over, because she's like, I just wear pajamas all day. And I'm not talking about like a slinky fucking negligee, like a peekaboo nightie. I'm talking about, like
why
long
doesn't he
pants.
want her wearing pajamas too revealing?
I guess in case she bends over and there's like someone at the house, because sometimes people stop by, like today, a couple of guys stopped by, they were doing something with cameras. And also, and this fucking killed me to the point where I was like, you're joking, but he wasn't. She's not allowed to eat popsicles or bananas.
What? Is that true?
That in front of other people or in public, he prefers that she not eat popsicles or bananas. Not because of the way she eats them, but
because dudes will be looking at her.
They're looking at her and she has very full lips and they might start thinking stuff.
Why does he want to control what other people think?
And you
That's
can't.
not in
and
his,
you can't.
And he's not dating those people. It's like, it'd be one thing if she's like, whenever I eat a fucking banana, I think about sucking a cock that's not yours. He's like, well, maybe you don't want any bananas anymore. But it's another thing to be like, if you're eating a banana and some fucker across the street looks at you and thinks about getting a blowjob, that bugs me. Like, that's crazy.
Because you couldn't even know it.
Yeah.
But he assumes.
And even if you did, even if the dude held up a sign where you looked over and the sign just read, I'm imagining my dick in your lady's mouth. So what? You know what I'm saying?
Unless like, she's imagining it. Yeah, you don't really have a problem.
It's like you can't, he's crazy like that, man, where it's just like, what? I think I've heard something about the popsicle thing before, but I thought they were joking.
Yeah, no, they're joking.
That means they had that conversation.
Oh, yeah. I'm concerned about her potassium levels, too. If there's no bananas allowed in the house.
He keeps them all in the bedroom. It's only when they're behind closed doors and shit. He's like, now you can have.
Blacks out the windows.
She starts eating one. He's just like, dirty.
Too dirty. Start again. Fucking 40 fucking half-eaten bananas in the corner of the room.
Just nibbles. Little fucking flies around the corner. Can we throw that out? No. What if someone sees
and then knows that you ate it and then is like puts two and two together?
He can think about a dick then. And, oh, that would be the worst. It's so weird. Do you think I think it's his entire life coming back to haunt him? God forbid he has a daughter, but that's what he only says that because he is that guy.
Right.
Who's looking at some other girl eating a popsicle stick and he's like, ooh, I'm imagining my dick. Yes. And now because of a lifetime of that, he's just like, I can't fucking.
Everyone's like me.
Yeah, he's become like the Batman against it. But it's not even Batman. He's become, you know what he is?
The puritanical Batman.
No, he's Paul, who was struck down on the road to Damascus. All he was doing was killing Christians left and right as a zealot. Then he struck down on the road to Damascus by the voice of God said, Paul, well, his name was Saul. And then they changed his name to Paul. I said, why are you killing my people and stuff? And he was like, so I'll stop. And so he had a complete conversion.
They've been watching my lady eat popsicles.
Yes. That's been the problem here. But it is a bizarre, he still is very tight about her and how others perceive her. But in a way of not like, brush your teeth so people don't see your teeth are yellow or something like that. It's more like the very thought of you existing in someone's mind sexually for a moment, even though you have no control of it and I have no control over it, drives me nuts.
Yeah, it's crippling.
He's almost like a fucking Muslim cleric, dude, where he's just like, wrap yourself up from head to toe because it is offensive to me. Your femininity might be, tempt somebody. It is rather
It's strange you should say that because
It's beyond conservative.
I wasn't going to bring this up, but I did see him slap her off a bicycle she was riding. Like, what's going on here?
Too smart. Too smart. What else do they do? Do they, at a certain point, they're like, all right, good night, and they go into their room?
Yeah, they retire to their room. Well, he watches, like, he hasn't changed at all. He's a fucking human pinball, just going from like one thing to the next thing to, like he goes play a video game, then he goes and watches.
Not married to him as much as she's babysitting him.
Game of Thrones.
20 years.
He's really like shockingly responsible though. Like he talks a lot about business, I noticed too.
Right.
He's,
I think that's his anti-drug, to be honest with you. Like, that was nothing.
The workaholic.
I think that's, something goes away, something's got to replace it. And she, like, that's all she lives and breathes is the work. Like, 100%. 5% she leaves for Jay. She is all about it because she's been given the shit ton of responsibility for someone her age, for someone with no fucking experience and whatnot. So she's always thinking about, like, how do we make more money? How do we build it? Can we do this? Or he wants to do this now. How do I make that happen?
Right.
This guy wants to do this. Jason wants to do this. How do I make this happen? So as much as we're out there on the road going like, Jay's the producer of super groovy cartoon movie. Like, yes, Jay was the guy going, I want to do this. Figure it out. And the person he said that to was fucking Jordan. So, she's like, God, where's I going with this?
Muse being the pinball, Muse, being into
she's
business,
all about the business.
Yeah.
Like, she wakes up, boom, she's at work and never fucking ends with her. So I think that's just become part of his matrix at this point. Like, they plot together, they plan together. Like,
he's definitely together. Like, he has a lot of ideas and he's ambitious. There's a lot of stuff he wants to do. I think because he wasn't for so long. I think because for so long he was just like fucking beep. That one now for the last 3 years, he's been like fucking, especially because over the course of the last 3 years, he's gone out on the road touring. He's done the cartoon and shit like that. Like, he's realized, it's a world of possibility where you can keep fucking shit together. So those two, they got a map in their kitchen and with places where we've been pinned and places that they want to go and stuff like that. It's been really nice. Power couple.
Yeah, they are kind of a power couple with like zero power whatsoever. But she has been kind of his salvation, but he is very much the short attention span theater guy. Mm-hmm. You can't keep him on one fucking thing.
Well, he's working on something now. I guess he's with, I can't remember who the people are. It's like Chill, I think is the name of the company or whatever. And it's the Vigilante Diaries.
Yeah, there was a bunch of pieces in the press last week about how they're raising money.
Yeah, they're raising money and they did the pilot and Muse went back and cut it because he didn't like certain things, which shockingly was too much boobies.
He wanted to cut back. He's married.
Not even cut it back, cut it out. Which,
altogether.
Again, I guess I'm showing my age and lack of fucking testosterone, but I'm like, I agree with you. It had no place.
Oh, really? So you saw it and you were like, as much as I like boobies, but it doesn't
take it out. Yeah, it doesn't serve any purpose. And I totally gratuitous. And if you're trying to attract a network or someone, Xbox, whoever, I'm just like, I don't know who this would be for.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unless it were like like HBO or Showtime, but it's so limited then.
Yeah. With the titties in place, like you can't even really play YouTube, can you?
No, can't play YouTube, can't play Xbox because there's too much, it's all, age verified and shit like that. So he's making smart decisions,
that right then and there is 180 degrees from Muse of old. The smart decisions didn't fucking
more titties.
Yeah, like fucking far more of the titties. So weird, man, to think of that dude. This is a little whippersnapper who was just like, Ning.
Yeah, we were talking today about when we first started hanging out and Jordan was like, he was 18. I was like, he wasn't 18. I was like, he's like 14, I think.
I think so.
And when you think about it, like you were 18.
I was
me
18
and Walt were 20.
I started hanging out with you. Yeah, you were older than me. And when I was my senior year in high school, I was 17. He was still in 8th grade, I think he said. So he's 4 years behind me. So yeah. He was young, man. I mean, when we started bringing him up to the city to comic book shows and shit, like he was.
Any normal
14.
parent would be like, Like, even if...
Who are you guys?
Yeah, well, even if now, like, Harley, she just turned 14, right? If she had friends that were 18 and 20 and they're like, oh, we're going to even go downtown, you'd be like, who are these people?
I mean, let alone, like, we're going to go into the city.
Another state
altogether, fucking an hour away and shit like that. But, you know, whatever. We'll be good.
Yeah. And then when they get back, it's like, well, basically, they mocked me for blowing this blotchy dude nonstop.
Oh, my God. Put into the context of my kid, dude. My kid goes out with some like 20, they're all girls because it was the same gender. But let's say she goes out with a bunch of 20, 21-year-old fucking girls. 3 of them. They go to Las Vegas together. They come back in one piece. I'm like, how'd everything go? She's like, oh, we had a blast, man. But the whole ride back, they just kept talking how I was like eating the pussy of this repulsive person that we saw for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it turned into a 4-hour.
They got a lot of mileage like this. It is weird, man. That is true. Thank God he didn't have traditional parents to go home to and be like, they said that I would be sucking blotchy and cha-ching. Like, who is this?
For comics.
Who's blowing who? What now?
Who's this blotchy?
And now he's empire building.
It seems so normal at the time, though. I mean, it didn't even seem like, should we be doing this?
Well, think about it. Our perspective of the world was based around just, you know what, maybe fucking 10, 20 miles max all around us. That was normalcy. So you knew people that were like, I have working parents or I have divorced parents. I never see my one parent or whatever. I'm being raised by a relative. There were a lot of people like growing up in Highlands who was like, my mom is my grandmother.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was kind of like, oh, I guess this is, you know, it's not normal in my family, but it's normal in Highlands to some degree.
Well, when we went to, I noticed that when we went to, we had a party for Harley the other day. And by we, I mean you guys did. I tagged along. And we went to the pier afterwards.
Finish that cake.
This cake is, nobody wants this, right?
I mean, it's really good icing, and to just not eat it is.
Yeah, it's a waste.
It's repugnant.
Harley, Harley,
can I eat this? Harley.
Are you going to have this? That was the running joke that her fucking quote unquote Uncle Bryan was across the room trying to get her attention. Be like, Harley. And you know, she hears me. Oh, she doesn't hear me. Harley.
Harley, 14, right?
I remember that.
I was it once. Oh, just don't turn around. Is that your uncle? No. It's my brother's friend.
Is your friend gonna eat that cake? Harley. She doesn't hear me. Harley.
What? She just turns around like, as if to be like, she has this expression like, me, this Harley? Harley. Oh, fuck, I forgot what I was saying now. It was long. Happy birthday. And she's like, oh, God, thank you.
Oh, I remembered. Harley. Starts crying.
I mean, it wasn't that fucking far. It doesn't feel that long ago that I was 14. I know it was way long ago. And I know we kind of live in a very adolescent fashion, particularly one of us with the whole like, I'm going to fucking live in a hotel like Holden Caulfield because what did he call people?
Crumb bums.
Yeah.
Crumb bum.
You're putting on your fucking hunting cap and just going from hotel to hotel. But I always kind of feel teenager in my head, particularly with the job being make pretend and shit. So when she hit 14, like suddenly I was like, oh, she's really a teenager. Like I guess I can't feel that way anymore. I guess I'm supposed to kind of grow up at this point.
What I find, what makes it difficult though, is like you feel sometimes like your mind is like a fucking bear trap. It retains every fucking memory. Like I can remember
14 was vivid.
Oh yeah.
It's still vivid. It's not like what a fucking haze. Like it's all.
Remember very specific things. We
still talk about the same fucking people that we went to school with. Like in a way where I doubt the only reason these people would talk about us would be like, oh, fucking those guys wound up on TV. I've seen them on TV. Other than that,
If not,
never would have fucking given thought to us twice. But there are people that we have obsessively talked about and thought about since we got out of high school that would probably be disturbed to know how much fucking thought we put into their lives and their existence.
Or like maybe it mentioned their name on a podcast. Or like, what did they say?
Yeah, like fucking, you know my name? And it's like, know your name. Oh my God, it's writ large in my mythology. Like, and that's what it is. It's like these were the movie stars, the celebrities of our youth. Like, it wasn't like fucking Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher. Those people were in movies. They weren't real. This was true fucking celebrity. Like a Raylan Latico. You know what I'm saying? Like whose dad, wasn't her dad in the police?
Dad, a Middletown cop. Yeah.
Middletown cop. And she's beautiful and like popular and shit like that. Like she would have been the Jennifer Aniston of Henry Hudson, if you will. Those names are still have so much fucking power. They're still, even though we're like 28 years removed from high school, almost 30 years removed from high school soon. Well, way down the road, about 5 more years, but still, those names still have fucking power and still represent like an old style studio star system in our minds, but just for Highlands, you know, like names where you're just like Tina Franco. Holy shit.
Right.
Like she was famous, man. Like
too cool to hang out with us.
Oh God. Yeah. We were like people, if Tina Franco sold tickets, like we would be the people buying tickets to see Tina
lining
Franco.
up.
Yeah.
Like a week early. And I see when I take Sage to school, I see people like girls from that era.
I see live people like you're supposed to. Harley, right? Like that movie.
Remember that movie?
I see. Did you ever see it? Did we see it? Are you looking at me? Harley. Waiter. Get Harley. Can you hit that girl? Don't hit her.
I'll kill you. Like people that from that era that now have their own children. And some of them I look at and I'm like, my God, like you're a mom.
Oh, so you've seen their faces. In my mind, they're all frozen in high school. Age, yeah. Right? Like Tina Franco still looks like Tina Franco from fucking the last time I saw her in senior year to, you know, maybe I saw her like a quick stop. Like Laurie Murchison. Laurie Murchison still looks like Laurie Murchison that I saw at Quick Stop, like while I was still working there before Clerks happened. She would like, go over and hang out and with some people over there. Her and like Dawn Ostermiller came in a few times too.
Oh, she used to come in a lot. Yeah.
To the stores. And
with her boyfriend Donnie. Like
yes.
these are the reasons that I can't, like, I could never become a doctor because my mind's so filled with like, oh, that guy that Dawn Ostermiller broke up with in 1992. Yes. I know his name still.
What's his name?
Donnie.
And he lived across the street.
Yeah, lived across the highway.
He bought Chew all the time. Mm-hmm. He was a good dude, man. Like he was a dude who would come into Quick Stop who, like he was kind of a butch dude. Like,
he was like stocky fireplug type.
Yes. And could have by all, you know, fucking rights been like, eat shit and walked away from people like us. But
I guess we better listen.
Yeah. He's right, you know. But he was always kind of cool with us. Like, you guys are all right. Even though we were clearly not in his caste system, so to speak. I remember him, and I remember he bought the fucking Chew all the time. He would come
Copenhagen.
The Copenhagen shit. But those cats, like Lori is frozen.
Donnie, who loves bowling.
But you've seen them. You run into some cats.
Yeah. Not a lot, not a ton, but sometimes I do. Like there's one like Renee Garber. She's a mom. She's a daughter in 6th grade.
Really?
And yeah. And I just like, I look at her and
she used to date at Hapstack.
Yeah. And she's still a very good looking woman, but I look at her daughter and I'm like, my God, like you have no idea. And you never will have any idea like what your mom was like.
Here's who Renee Garber is, man. This is relevance to anybody who fucking likes our stuff.
Very tuned out.
Like, who? Fuck this. You're talking about fake movie stars.
Donnie.
Copenhagen. Harley. It was, she is the one who introduced me to the notion of snowballing. She was the first person that said snowballing. She explained she was just like, some people do this. And we were like, what's that? And she was talking about like, it's when you blow a guy and then when you're kissing him afterwards, you spit the cum back in his mouth. And I was like, holy shit. And we were all like, oh my God. But I was the only one that was like, boy, that should be in a movie. And then years later.
I'm like, let's find out who does this and kill him.
Years later, though, it goes into the flick. So there, in my imagination, Renee Garber will always be larger than life, not only for like, oh, she was cute and shit. And like one of the many girls that Ed, got to be with or dated or whatever, that you were like, sure, it's cool to be Ed.
Mm-hmm.
It sure sucks to still be me. But she also like added a piece, like where people go like, where'd you come up with the Dutch rudder? I was like, I didn't. Dave Klein said it to me one day. And I was like, what's that? And he explained it. I was like, that's genius. And then I just
tuck it away.
Yeah, totally. Same thing with snowballing. Who else do you see? Like, I'm not necessarily like, cause the audience, I guess, wouldn't know their names, but have you seen someone who went from like hottie to naughty?
Aside from looking in the mirror.
Somewhere, people we went to high school are having the same conversation going, who went from hottie to naughty.
Oh, yeah, I definitely do. I saw his fat ass on TV the other day. Why'd they put that on TV?
It's crazy, dude. We're at that middle age. We're past the middle age point, man, where you talked about it when you were in high school. Going like, I remember being like, I was born 1970. So I was always like, my God, in the year 2000, I'm going to be 30 years old. And that seemed ancient.
It seemed like so far away that you couldn't even comprehend it.
We're 12 years past that point.
Yeah. You're lucky you're 12 years. I'm 15
which
years.
Which to me,
it.
I kind of cognitively reframe as like, well, technically you never expected to live past 30 because you never could, your tiny imagination never went past 30. No. Or your simple math never allowed you to go past 30.
You believe Logan's running shit.
Yeah, where I'm like, they'll kill me at 30. But now I feel like right on, everything after that's been borrowed fucking time. Cause in my imagination, it never got higher than 30. I was never like old man Kev. I didn't imagine myself that way. So I don't know. And that's the way I put it through that prism. Everything's a gift.
Yeah, I find also like if you talk to younger people, like your references get totally lost for the most part because nobody was watching Sanford and Son. Nobody watches it in syndication now. So when you throw out a fucking Skillet reference or
they just
Grady or something,
I rocked a fucking Munsters reference on my kid the other day on Smodcast last week. And I was like, man, you're like the Marilyn of the Munsters. She was like, I don't know what. And I was like, you don't get that, dude. She's like, no. And I was like, wow.
The only way they can hope to, you can hope that they would get it is like if they're a fan of, say, Rob Zombie, who like if you like Rob Zombie's heavily influenced by the Munsters, then they might go back and be like, oh, here's the Munsters. Great fucking show, too.
The Munsters?
Oh, man. Loved it when I was a kid.
I liked it more in theory than in practice. I didn't like the laugh track. Like, it just seemed weird with like, I love fucking shit like Spot. What I wanted about the Munsters, I think, was it to be more earnest. Like, it was always slapsticky adventures, but it's like.
Herman too goofy.
Yeah, it's just like, this is fucked up. They got a giant fucking dinosaur under the stairs. That's metal. And I got a little vampire boy, wolf boy, and fucking this guy's a vampire, and that guy's a Frankenstein. Like, play it straight, man. Like, just fucking have them talk to each other about, like, eating bones and fucking doing haunted shit. But it was all, all fun and games. And it was also like at a time, for us, it was on in reruns. We didn't watch it like,
No, I didn't see it first run, yeah.
But that was also coupled with the Addams Family all the time. And it made it seem like, boy, back in the days of black and white TV, all they knew how to do were stories about fucked up people who were monsters, but real families.
Yeah, but I mean, the Addams Family, it was almost the highbrow Munsters, though, right? Like,
well, it was based on Charles Addams, like already existing comic strip, so it had a pedigree. Whereas the Munsters, I don't know which one went first. Yeah, that was not my favorite. When the Munsters came on, I would be disappointed because I was like, "Fuck, no cartoons." Now it's this live action bullshit with these fucking spooks that are not.
Whoa, you are from Highlands.
With these spooks and ghouls who are not doing anything scary. Yeah, that bummed me out, man.
Same
Except
year.
Batman. I did like Batman. Oh, really? So
they both started in 1964.
So maybe one network hears, hey, man, they're developing the Addams Family over at fucking CBS or whatever. And he's like, oh, well, fucking two could play at that game. How about the Monsters? And boom, they're off and running.
And there was that woman, it was like Pat Priest was the second one. I think the second Marilyn. Then there was that first Marilyn that, she left the show for her boyfriend.
In real life. So
Yeah.
she was like the fucking, king who abdicated the throne from what's her name? Margaret Simpson. Remember there was a king, that movie's about it, man. The King's Speech. Like
I never saw
Queen
that.
Elizabeth's dad wasn't the original king. It was his brother, but his brother, who was going to, inherit the throne and became king at a certain point, was in love with this commoner woman who was divorced. I don't know if she was commoner, but she was at least divorced. I think she was American. And so, he was like, I love her. And very dramatically gave up the throne. And then his brother,
Don't you dare eat a banana in front of anyone.
is this the man who wrecked the buffet at the Harold Club? His brother is like this blubbering mess of a dude who he can't speak publicly. That's what the King's Speech is about. It's a beautiful fucking flick. But he can't get it together to address the public. And I guess when you're king, your job, or queen, is primarily periodically to be like, everything's cool, fucking blah, blah, blah. So this guy winds up getting the throne, and like everyone's like, we're fucked, because he can't even he's such a mess. He can't even speak. Can't even fucking talk without stuttering. He's a stuttering goddamn mess. And they send him to a speech therapist, and he learns to fucking control his speech and disability, which wasn't even disability. He stuttered a bit.
Yeah.
And then he got him past it and stuff like that. And then he could go out there. But again, very beautiful movie. There's this really wonderful acting moment where Helena Bonham Carter is his wife. And, she's suffering with this full every day of his life. This is his kryptonite, this fucking not being able to speak thing. He does a lot of nodding and shit like that. Doesn't like to go to events because he feels like, everyone's going to make fun of him and shit like that. So at the end of the movie, spoilers, at the end of the movie, guess what? He gets through the fucking speech and the doctor helps him and shit like that. And so she has this moment after he gives the big speech. She has this moment where she's just like, he looks to her and she's like, I always knew you could do it. Like one of these kind of throwaway lines. And then right on the heel of her throwaway line, her humanity, her brow crumples and she looks like she's about to bawl. And then quickly reins it in because they're royalty. She can't be doing that sort of thing. But you saw it was, one of those, I'm an acting fucking freak. I love that, when they can really take you there. And so rarely is there a performance or are there performers where they're like, oh fuck, man, you're no longer a character. This fucker exists. Helena Bonham Carter is one of them in that moment. And it's a split second. Your brow just furrows. She looks like she's about to crumble and cry. And you just see the weight of the entire movie has been on her shoulders, not like carrying it, but just like my husband. Was his fucking everything, in life that he could point to as terrible in life is his inability to express himself. Now he can. I'm fucking relieved. Thank God this happened and got through the goddamn speech. And it's really, really, really fucking nice. In any event, how do we get out of that?
We were talking, Beverly Owen is
So
episodes 1 through 13.
So she comes in for the beginning and then she's like, I'm leaving. They're like, why? You doing it for a raise? She's like, no, I'm doing it for love.
It says here, she was, this is what would really suck. She's a classically trained American actress, perhaps most widely known for having played the role of Marilyn Munster during the first season of The Munster. So that's what you're known best for. 1964, you fucking quit. Right. You wanted to go live with your boyfriend. She said she disliked the role and only accepted out of contractual obligations to Universal. After 13 episodes, she left the program to get married and was replaced by Pat Priest. Beginning in 71, she appeared for 2 years on Another World, after which she retired from television.
Yeah, it sounds like it wasn't for her at the end of the day. Like she was just like, I did it and I'm fucking done. And I'm sure she wasn't like, God damn it, I wish I'd fucking stayed, because she was like, I didn't like it, man.
Nah, she's still alive.
Is she?
Mm-hmm. She's 76.
She got to be out here.
That's rough. That's the other thing that
you should fucking track down, dude. Go track her down and be like, what was your fucking problem? Why did you quit?
Oh, you fucked up. You know that, right? She's like, I thought this was going to be a nice interview.
Hey, Grandma. You know what I am? She's like, well, no.
Am I in her house at this point? Or am I still like, I haven't gained entrance yet?
You're fucking walking around her like Charlie Manson when he's in that interview. He's like, Charlie, do crazy shit on her. You're doing the fucking marionette at her. Hey, Grandma. I hate to interrupt this awesome Smodco podcast, but somebody got to pay the fucking bill. Somebody got to have the balls to be like, give us money. So here we go, man. Some ads, and then we'll get back into the show. Go to huluplus.com/Smodcast. Get yourself an extended free trial of Hulu Plus. You know what Hulu Plus is? With Hulu Plus, you get total control to watch thousands of shows wherever you want, whenever you want. Man, you use Hulu Plus on connected TVs, like game consoles, like Blu-ray players, like a Roku box, like Apple TV. That's how I watch mine. Or PC. Watch them anywhere on your smartphone or on your tablet, man. On demand at all times. And with Hulu Plus, you can binge on full seasons. Watch your favorite current shows and even full series runs of classic TV shows. Man, it's endless. The library is endless. You can watch Community on Hulu Plus, Modern Family, South Park, Saturday Night Live, man, Monday Night Raw, Jimmy Kimmel, Family Guy. Oh, the list goes on and on. Guess what, man? Here's the sweetness. $7.99 per month. That is cheap, son. Right now, man, they're offering you an extended free trial of Hulu Plus. It's only available to podcast listeners of Smodcast in this instance. Take control of your TV watching experience. Go to huluplus.com/Smodcast for your extended free trial. Or you can click on the Hulu Plus banner over at the Smodcast homepage at smodcast.com, man. Or, like I said, go to huluplus.com/Smodcast for your extended free trial. Click on that Hulu banner, man. Get going. Join us in Hulu. Come do the Hulu, man. Hulu Plus.
Pat Priest is also 76. That's what they should do. Like now they have like celebrity boxing. Pat Priest versus Beverly Owen.
Because no one demanded it. Grandma Foxy boxing with your two favorite Marylands. The first one and the second one.
What is it called? The undercard or the two Beckys from Roseanne? Or the two Darrens. One of the Darrens is dead, right? Isn't he?
I believe both the Darrens have now passed. That's why I'm like really surprised to hear that both the Marylands are still kicking.
Yeah.
Somewhere they're like, fuck you. I've seen pictures of you two. I'm surprised you're both still alive.
Fucking sell your leg while you can. Let's see. Dick York. Yeah. He's
and Dick
dead.
Sargent.
63. He died at 63.
Two dicks.
And
couple
Dick
of dicks.
Sargent. Yeah. Let's see if Dick Sargent's dead. Yep. 64. What the fuck, man?
It's cursed.
He died of prostate cancer. Let me see. What did the first Dick die of? Where did he go again? There's Dick Sargent. Did you think Elizabeth Montgomery was hot? Like when you watched the show, like when you watched,
I hated Bewitched.
Different TV shows. Was there like, were there women that you were like,
No. I mean, I was in love with
Mm-hmm.
Carrie Fisher. I wanted to marry Carrie Fisher. No,
Yeah.
I was too stupid to know that like, you don't have to marry. You can just have sex. Maybe if you're lucky. How about you dream that before marriage? Marriage is a weirder fucking thing to want for, you know? It's like, I want her forever until the end of time. But that's only because you're a kid and you don't know difference. And nobody ever says like, hey man, you know what's better than fucking marriage? Come, man. Just come. Come and come and come.
Dick York died of emphysema, by the way.
Smoker, was he?
It appears that. Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, that show, man, I believe me, I like the idea of it. And I like I think they were all great performers. But when I think of that as a kid, like that was one of those shows that was just like, why this? Why not Batman? Mm-hmm. Why not one more hour of Batman? Like, why do we have to watch this witch show? And I remember later, do you remember the spinoff
of Bewitched?
Yeah.
I don't, no.
And it happened like, I would say 10, 15 years after Bewitched.
No, I have no recollection of that.
It was called Tabitha. One season.
It was based on the daughter?
Yeah. She grew up. And so
in real life, didn't she have like a serious drug problem?
The real Tabitha?
Tabitha? Yeah, I think so.
I don't know, but the girl who played her in the spinoff certainly did not play her as a child. But her Do you remember Tabitha? I think, what did fucking, what was Bewitched? Samantha. What did Sam do? Did she touch her nose?
She wiggled her nose, I think, right? She's
without using her finger.
Mm-hmm.
She just went like that.
Yeah.
Tabitha did something, if you remember, and she did it as an adult. Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I'm trying to find Tabitha.
It's like a fucking whole new world for you, isn't it?
I know. All this fucking, more shit that I'm packing into my brain too.
Yeah, we're farther and further away from curing anything.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about, Agnes Moorehead. I think that was the old woman though, right? Yeah, she was born in fucking 1900.
There it is, man. Fantasy sitcom, created by Jerry Meyer, starring Lisa Hartman. Do you remember Lisa Hartman? She was on Knots Landing, Where the Boys Are Not 84. She married country music superstar Clint Black. Tabitha, Bryan, is an American fantasy sitcom that aired during the 1977-78 season on ABC. It is a spinoff of Bewitched, which had ended its run several years earlier. The series stars Lisa Hartman as Tabitha, Samantha, and Darren Stevens' daughter, who was introduced on Bewitched during its second season. In the series, Tabitha is portrayed as a 20-something production assistant, a PA, living and working in Los Angeles. Holy shit.
It's like your mom's a witch, can fucking call down anything using the black arts, and you're like, I'll take the lowest fucking position on the lowest rung of the Hollywood fucking
Dude, fuck her mom. She had her own magic powers. So she could have, she didn't even need Samantha's help. She was a witch as well. The supporting cast included David Ancrum as Tabitha's brother Adam, with whom she works. Do they have an Adam at the end of Bewitched? Did they have another kid, a boy? I seem to remember a little boy at one point. Well, maybe I'm wrong.
Let me quickly take back my claim that she had drug problems, though, because it doesn't appear that way.
Robert Urich was an egomaniacal talk show host who was a sometime love interest for Tabitha. Unlike Bewitched, which was a hit for ABC and aired for 8 seasons, Tabitha failed to catch on with viewers and was canceled after 1. I wonder if they ever brought anybody back from the old show.
Oh, like the mailman showed up or something.
Yeah, like, holy shit, everybody loved.
Like in Scooby-Doo, they'd be like, the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah. Several Bewitched characters appeared on Tabitha. In the series' second episode, Tabitha's Weighty Problem, Bernard Fox reprises his role as Dr. Bombay.
Nice.
So you're a Bewitched fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing this for your benefit. I don't give a fuck about Tabitha, Bryan. I'm just trying to explain shit to you. And again, in the last episode, Tabitha's Party, in which the character's first name is revealed. Dr. Bombay had a first name. You didn't even know this.
No, I didn't.
You've been watching Bewitched all these years going like, I find her sexy. You don't even know what fucking Dr. Bombay's name is Hubert.
I wasn't focusing on Dr. Bombay. Fuck him.
The 6th episode, The Arrival of Nancy, features George Tobias and Sandra Gould as Abner and Gladys Kravitz, dude. They came back. The Kravitzes, the nosy fucking neighbors.
Yeah. You gotta have them.
This is a rabbit hole you gotta fall down. You gotta go look for these, dude. You can probably.
Well, that's what I do in the morning. That's why like half my day gets wasted is I'll look at something on Wikipedia and then I'll see like a link and I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. Let me go to that. And before you know it, I've like fucking researched 5 generations of like the patriarch of crime family or something.
You fall down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, for sure.
Dick Wilson, who played the drunk guy on Bewitched, he's in the episode Halloween Show and the final episode. And Mary Grace Canfield, who appeared on 4 episodes of Bewitched as Abner Kravitz's sister, Harriet Kravitz. She also guest starred, albeit as another character. God, I love Wikipedia, man. Could you imagine without this or without the internet in general?
That'd be dumb.
Yeah. And I'd be telling you about Tabitha. You'd be like, no way. That was a fucking drug-fueled dream. Nothing ever cool could have been that in house in real life. No way it happened. Elizabeth Montgomery, who starred as Samantha Stevens on Bewitched, was asked to reprise her role on Tabitha, which she declined. She later said of the series, first of all, I didn't see the show, but I heard that she, Lisa Hartman, didn't twitch as well as I did. I kept getting mail from people who were outraged saying, where is Erin Murphy? What in the world is going on? This woman is 25. This woman is 25. This doesn't make any sense. I was getting mail from, fucking Samantha. Elizabeth Montgomery was dealing with the internet before the internet existed. That's all these people are. They're like continuity freaks going, the baby wouldn't be 25. This makes no sense.
They're fucking witches.
I was getting mail from people like it was my fault, although also saying, thank God you didn't have anything to do. Boy, she buried this fucking show, man. They felt betrayed, the fans. I thought, how can you be betrayed by a TV show? But they were irate. I got almost as much mail about that as I get about anything else. It was very funny. Ranged from kids who hated it to grown-ups who said, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
That's not fun to get that way.
Oh, shit. No, could you imagine? Like, you're the guy that created this show. Hold on. It's your old fucking Jerry Meyer. And you're like, look, it's not fucking A Tale of Two Cities, but I'm happy with Tabitha. It's kind of clever.
And you beat the odds.
Yeah, I'm on TV. You know what kind of gauntlet I had to run to be the one chosen? I was chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And, boy, I wonder what the real Samantha thinks about it.
Let me look it up.
Oh, God. Reception and cancellation. After the series premiered on September 10th, 1977, the second episode aired over 2 months later on November 12th, 1977. Mind you, this was about 3 months after Star Wars, too. So the whole world's like, we're in this brand new fucking world of like spaceships and robots.
Magic.
And magic swords and old men who give you things in the desert. Little dudes who sell you robots and fucking dudes with bandages on their faces and sticks on a desert planet with twin suns and fucking, they're like, cut to the chase. He's like, okay, we're in that world and you expect I want to watch a show about a fucking magic kid, the witch girl who's not really 25?
Yeah, she shouldn't even be 25.
That was so strange that people would like stick to that point. Like, she would have only been 13. This art has no truth. The series then continued to air regularly on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Ratings for Tabitha were initially good, but began to drop off midway through the first season. Because people are like, she's not twitching her fucking nose. This is bullshit.
Not as good as fucking Elizabeth
I'm writing
Taylor
a letter
anyway.
to Elizabeth Montgomery to express my outrage.
She's like, I'm way ahead of you.
In January 1978, ABC moved Tabitha from its Saturday night spot to Fridays at 8 p.m., typically known as the Friday night death slot. This is years, maybe a decade before they turn it into TGIF,
right,
with Urkel and whatnot, where the ratings continued to fall, and then ABC canceled the series shortly thereafter. It ran in reruns, and then that was that. Then that was the fucking truth. Yo. It was filmed at the Burbank Studios, right, where they do the Jay Leno show. It was filmed with a single camera, and then they would add a laugh track. It's so strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
they never adopted it for the movies, where it's just like, this is where you laugh. Ah.
Right. They do that on Nickelodeon, though, still. Like, if you watch Nickelodeon shows, like, say, iCarly or something, there's a laugh track, and it's an adult laugh track, which to me is weird. Like, there's no fucking way you get a room full of adults that are laughing at this fucking retarded bullshit. It's ridiculous. It is, like, you think about, like, they just said that, they say the neighbor was what? The neighbor was an alcoholic or something?
There was a drunk guy on the show.
A drunk guy. Yeah, they really like it,
played the stereotypes,
or they played it like Sanford and Son. Uncle Woody was a hardcore alcoholic. Remember, He was always drunk.
Yeah,
and like Esther would beat him with her pocketbook and shit. But you thought it was funny. It never really occurred to you, like, well, this is
like
pretty
this is sad.
They would just never do it today, right? Like, is there any show out there that it's like
Barney on The Simpsons goes from drunk to cleaned up, and then they let him fall off the wagon and stuff. But he was the only town drunk that I could think of in the last 20 years.
Andy Griffith, did they have one? Did they have a town?
Yeah, wasn't there the dude who was always in the jail, sleeping in the jail cell and stuff like that because he had too much?
I should ask Walt. He's a fucking huge fan of that show. He wants to go back to Andy Griffith times.
Yeah, you could tell that dude's just like, let's go to the swimming hole.
Yeah, bringing something with a fucking fishing pole and shit.
Sony Pictures Home Entertainment released the entire run of Tabitha on DVD. It's out there.
That's nuts.
Dude, that's at least...
It must have been like it cost 3 cents. Let's put it out there.
The original Liberty Williams pilot, I guess Lisa Hartman wasn't the first one. I guess they did a pilot with Liberty Williams, is included as a special feature. So if you're as big a fucking Bewitched fan as you represented a little while ago,
I think I thought I mentioned it, asked if you watched it, but go ahead.
But I would imagine this would be amazing news for you. You're like, holy shit, man. Like a way to continue the adventure that I didn't know about. But I didn't know that
for one more season.
Yeah, like one more year. Wow, they did. They shot the first pilot, directed by Bewitched producer-director Bill Asher, did not sell the series. A second pilot starring Lisa Hartman was produced that interested ABC, who bought the series. In the second version, Hartman replaced Liberty Williams as Tabitha Stevens, the daughter of Samantha and Darren. Tabitha is now a 20-something witch working as a production assistant at KXLA television station in Los Angeles. I mean, right on, man. I do remember I think she had look up Bewitched. I think she had a brother named Adam.
Okay. Does that take people out of it though? It's like, because the original show it was just suburbia, normal everyday situations. I don't remember him even leaving the house that much.
Yeah, they would go to his advertising agency sometimes because he was in the ad game. But yeah, it was in suburbia. It was relatable. Like, oh man, if you're watching that show, you're like, imagine I had those powers around my house like Samantha.
Clean up the house real fast.
For this chick's already living the dream. You're like, she's in the movie business? This is already unreal. I'll never be in the movie business.
She already has it better than me.
This is before you put the witchy poo powers on top of it.
Uncle Arthur and Claire. Okay, here we go.
That's why mid-season it turned into, fuck you, you're privileged. 1% piece of shit.
That'd be awesome. I would buy it then.
When you had the witch shit, it's like 0.5%. Jerk, you're even higher echelon. Burn the witches.
In the second season, Samantha gives birth to a daughter, Tabitha. And later in the series has a son, Adam. Both eventually prove to have supernatural powers. The Tate's son, Jonathan, is born several months before Tabitha. Larry Tate, that's his boss, right?
He had a kid.
Other recurring characters.
Why do they feel the need to tell us about the Tate's kid? He had no magical powers. Unless there was one episode, like in one episode, Tabitha fucking sacrificed him.
Yeah.
In one episode,
cut off his genitals or something fucking super weird that like ended up on the cutting room floor. Sacrificed him to Satan.
Sam comes into the fucking little kid playroom. Tabitha, and she just looks up with balls and blood.
Like a feral fucking wolf child. We want to bring Tabitha into the 20th century, man.
This shit just got real.
I had no idea. The drunk guy, Dick Wilson, he played the role of finicky grocery store manager, Mr. Whipple, in over 500 Charmin toilet paper television commercials.
Another prominent figure from our youth.
Wow, I would not have known that.
And there's a motherfucker I trusted, Mr. Whipple.
Yeah.
And he was, you know what I liked?
He was
on
point.
Yeah. Motherfucker was always looking out for his product. He's like, please don't squeeze the Charmin. Yeah. And he was nice about it. He could have been a prick.
He was a little fastidious. He was a little bit like...
But always polite with a please. As long as you say please, you can be as fastidious as you want with me. But in this day and age, that Mr. Whipple doesn't fly, man. He'd never say please. He would fucking come over and stun you with a cattle prod.
Yeah, really. Wilson made, wait a second. He was quoted as saying, I've done 38 pictures and nobody remembers any of them, but they all remember me selling toilet paper.
But that's a cool thing.
Fuck you, bitch. Wilson made more than 504 commercials as Mr. Whipple, earning over $300,000 annually and working only 12 days a year.
He's a genius.
You could fucking remember me for whatever you wanted then.
He cracks the code, man. He cracks the code. Now, wait a second, dude. I'm still kind of obsessed with Tabitha. I know a lot of people are like, stop talking about it. There's a subject, this is all from its Wikipedia page, discontinuities with Bewitched. This is such a creature of the internet, even this subject. Although, as we've seen from fucking Samantha, she got some letters on it. The series takes place in the present day, late 70s of the time they made it, yet does not reconcile how Tabitha and Adam could be in their early to mid-20s when they had been young children at the time Bewitched ended only 5 years earlier.
That's a real sticking point for people, evidently.
It is, man. But now I could see if you're doing a show like, remember on Family Ties one year she was like, I'm having a baby, Steven. And the next season, that baby was 5 years old and nobody else aged. And they didn't say like, we're 5 years in the fucking future.
Is that weird aging disease?
Yeah. Nobody said he was a pillow baby or something like that. But they just like fucking played it like, yeah, never mind. We're going on. And it was probably their last season. So like, who gives a shit, man? We don't want to fucking lug around an infant. They're like, we'll get.
What's the infant going to add to? Like, at least you can give that 5-year-old some funny lines.
And maybe it gets a catchphrase going and they get another 2-3 years off of it or something.
Where'd my genitals go?
Brings that into the
crossover episode.
They're like, huh? Like, I'm sorry, I failed to see the catchphrase. Where'd my genitals go? What are you guys, got dicks in your ears?
Is that where they went?
Fuck you if you don't see a t-shirt. I see a mug, a t-shirt, a cup and ball game.
Theme park ride.
So there was that, man. People were mad that if you were mad at Family Ties for fucking suddenly being like the kid went from 1 to 4 in a summer or 1 to 5, that I could get because that's happening within the show. This is a spinoff taking place, you know, fucking, it's not even like the next year after we canceled Bewitched. We tried to foist it on the American public and they were like, we're too smart for you, Hollywood. It was like 5 years later. They're going like, we're not in real time. Fucking.
Right. Like, why are we explaining ourselves to you?
Like, by the time we're done explaining ourselves, fucking show's canceled.
It's already in the fucking death slot on Friday.
You fuckers took all the joy out of Tabitha.
Oh, there was an animated cartoon.
Of what, Bewitched?
Animated cartoon made in 1972, Tabitha and Adam and the Clown Family. This featured teenage versions of Tabitha and Adam visiting their aunt and uncle who travel with a circus. Oh, the 70s were so great.
Okay, dude.
Anybody who didn't live in the 70s really missed out.
They missed out. It was probably one of the most inventive and creative times for television. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it was better because the programming now is better. But man, they just fucking tried anything back then. And it's weird because
and it was like everybody was on something. Like
they were all
sort of
fucking doped up and whatnot. But they didn't have hopped up in goofballs. They didn't have nearly as many options or places to go to produce entertainment as there are now.
Yeah.
And yet all the entertainment is far more inventive and shit.
I mean, because now you even have like Netflix making original programming, fucking Amazon's looking
and
into
God bless
Hulu
them.
Plus.
But what is their original programming? Something that somebody else did. Arrested Development, you know.
Right.
I know they've done other stuff, of course, but it's like they're very rarely do you see original fucking ideas anymore. Most shit is like, oh, this is a spin on an old favorite or something like that. But in the 70s, motherfucker, they were just throwing shit at you just to see how you reacted.
Let's see what people say.
There's these two bitches on a swing and they're going to sing at you and talk through a magic mirror. And it fucking worked.
Yeah.
It ran for years and years and years.
Put a stupid ass squirrel on there
yeah,
for you.
that squirrel's going to fuck with your mind.
Chuckle Patch.
Sherlock Hemlock with laughing flowers. The Magic Garden, man. Boom. And it runs and runs and runs. Lidsville. That's a weird fucking idea. Fat Albert. It's a weird idea. I mean, technically that comes from Bill Cosby's albums though. Lidsville is, remember they were all hats and shit.
I don't remember that one, yeah.
That was like a Sid and Marty Krofft. I mean, when you think of
but all any of the Sid and Marty Krofft stuff, even the more mainstream stuff, like say Land of the Lost is really like odd and a lot of episodes are strange.
Have they ever copped to it yet? Like, yeah, we were all fucking hopped up on goofballs.
No, they did say though. I listened to a
commentary track?
to a commentary, and they said that the producers used to pass Chaka around. No, they didn't say that.
Come here, Chaka. Say it. Me, Chaka, me want berries. All right, good. Now take the berries.
How about a little twig and berries, Chaka? Oh, Harry, help! Remember Will went by his real name was like Wesley something, Wesley Benson, Wesley something or other, and I think it was second season he went by just Wesley. He was trying to like brand himself. Right. Yeah. Didn't work.
Because they'd have to redo the theme song. Marshall, Wesley, and Holly.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, in the real credits, like his credits.
Oh, not you mean not the actor? The actor,
himself. Yeah.
So wait, his name was what?
Wesley Eure. Eure. Maybe that's why it was like difficult to
So what was
pronounce the name.
What was the name originally?
His name is Wesley Eure, Eure, and then like second season he just went to Wesley. He tried to brand himself as Wesley.
One word?
Yeah, like Roseanne, kind of like Roseanne Barr to Roseanne.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm gonna be like Moses.
Pretty much.
You know what's holding me back?
My last name. Yeah.
What an unpronounceable hellhole my last name is.
It is, because you really wouldn't know how to pronounce it. I think he probably got a lot of puss though back in the day.
No doubt, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, let me fucking fall down to your land of the lost.
Chaka, fucking come here.
Me chugga.
Hey, Will.
Me want berries. Pussy berries.
You're going to get some berries, bitch. Dingleberries.
Like, I don't want to fuck you. Why not?
I'm a human. I'm a real human. Come on, Will. You know this is just a costume.
I'm the king of Saturday morning, you bitches.
Wesley.
One word. A word that put the name that puts the cock in Saturday morning.
Everybody with their eyes cast to the ground. Get Wesley more upset than he already is.
Guy plays Chaka. It's like, don't look at me. I gotta work with him.
There are also some like weird, like disturbing things because Sage loves it. I turn Sage on to it. Yeah.
Sage, for those who don't, number one, if you don't follow Tell Him Steve Dave, go subscribe to it. Number two, Sage is Bryan's niece that he pretty much raises at this point.
Pretty much, yeah.
But anyway, Sage watches the show.
Yeah, she's 7. She has Down syndrome, but it's like sort of light Down syndrome. She's pretty normal with a lot of shit. Except I was saying recently, one of the things she does now is like she's proud of herself. She'll tell me, she'll be like, I'm a big girl. And that's usually like reserved for younger kids. Like when you're 7, you don't really need to confirm that you're a big girl, but she likes it when I confirm it. So I'm like, yeah, you are, man. Like, no, you're not.
Yeah, fuck you. I'm a big boy.
I'm bigger than you are.
What of it?
And there's one episode where they basically attack this cycle of life where there's this, a smaller, like brontosaurus type creature get attacked and killed by, Grumpy, the Tyrannosaurus. Yeah. There's one episode that's really strange with the mother comes back.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Like
she comes back as like a specter, like a spectral image.
As one of the spectral image. And then isn't it like at the end, it's like she's replaced by a slee stack. It's not
something weird like that. And they're screaming. They're like, Mom, like when she disappears.
Fucking haunting too. You're like, oh my God, this was their only chance. Mom.
Yeah. There's the miner. Remember the miner? Like they stumble upon the miner. He's obviously on fucking mushrooms. Like he's eating mushrooms,
for gems and shit like that.
And he keeps them captive. Then the uncle shows up. Like somehow the uncle's looking for him. He shows up and the dad goes
conveniently
back.
just as the dad takes off. He's like, hey, they fucking pass off to one another, and then the uncle's with him.
Yeah, it's like everything else.
Like, I'm not even your uncle, my blood.
Yeah, he's like, you can do stuff.
I was like, I don't want to do stuff. He's like, all right, talk.
Like, well, usually everybody.
I'm talking to Wesley.
Usually everybody fucks Chaka. He's like that and just points to like a bush with it's obviously a mangled fucking furball. Sexually tortured Chaka.
Me, Chaka. Me want help. You shut up. Take the gimp away.
Wesley, help me with this. I'm Will. Shut up. They just throw it into the lagoon. Chaka sinks to the bottom of the drink.
We truly are lost.
Is that the last episode? No explanation after that.
I wonder why I dropped Wesley. Look him up. Follow him down a fucking rabbit hole.
Wesley Eure?
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a story there.
I don't think much. I think he was like, cause he was also on the, oh wait, here we go. He was on the track, the fucking, what is it? The commentary track. And I think he was making fun of the dad.
The whole time?
A little bit, kind of. Yeah. Cause like the dad like overacts big time.
Right.
Let's see. Born 1951, an American actor.
He was on Days of Our Lives and Land of the Lost.
And Land of the Lost.
He's also a singer, author, producer, director, charity fundraiser, and lecturer. Fuck you.
I was like, how'd you know all this? I didn't know you
I'm on the Wikipedia page. He grew up in Mississippi in Hattiesburg, dude. He studied acting and theater arts at the University of Nevada. Summer workshops. There he met Bob Goulet, who hired Eure as a production assistant for the Goulet Carol Lawrence summer tour. Eure became a cast member of the American Shakespeare Festival in Stratford, Connecticut. Wesley and at the Bucks County Playhouse in Pennsylvania, he performed in West Side Story and then joined a musical comedy review and traveled throughout the East Coast resort areas. Wesley and Richard Chamberlain were romantically involved in the early 70s.
Wesley and Richard Chamberlain?
Yes, sir. Shogun. Fucking Thornbirds. The king of the miniseries.
Fuck.
Oh, no! Television. After moving to L.A., Eure was hired to star in Kay Ballard's projected new series, The Organic Vegetables, created and produced by the team who did The Monkees. Subsequently, Eure was hired to replace David Cassidy on The Partridge Family, but the show was canceled before a new season started. So the dude who played Will, as in Marshall, Will, and Holly, was going to replace David Cassidy on The Partridge Family, but they canceled the show. This dude was always on the cusp of stardom. He was going to be in a Monkees type show called The Organic Vegetables, about a wacky band. That didn't go.
Not last week, the week before, we were talking about the Monkees, and Walt confessed that when he was young, you remember the opening credits, there was one part where one of the Monkees was in a tub.
Yeah.
And his friends were like pushing him down the street. And Walt said that he always felt very uncomfortable during that part to the point where he didn't want to watch it because he knew that that guy was nude or suspected he was nude in the tub, and it freaked him out. He didn't like it, so he wouldn't watch the show. And he always felt super awkward if his mom was in the same room.
I don't think we even need to send him to a Freudian psychiatrist to figure out what was going on there. Really, it's some like body shame issues based on television. Just like, his wee-wee's under that water.
Mm-hmm.
That is strange. I used to like go into my grandmother's bathroom and she had one of those dolls that, you put a yarn doll with a big dress that you put on top of a roll of toilet paper to hide it. Cause in the 70s.
Or like a toilet brush or something. They do it sometimes.
Something like that. This was like, you put the toilet paper roll on the back of the fucking toilet, but instead of like, ew, there's a toilet paper roll there, they dressed it up with a fucking doll, which is far creepier to me.
Cause it's always like a colonial style doll or something weird.
And she's always got these eyes that can open and close, like usually buy them from like a Michael's or a craft shop or something like that. So essentially, they're sitting there. The moment you walk in the toilet, if you're a stander, this doll is staring at your dick. And if you've got like a small dick to begin with, you're really self-conscious and shit. So I would always turn the doll around to face the wall and shit. And then I guess somebody picked up on it. One day my grandmother was like, do you turn the doll around?
But fucking my doll.
Yeah, she's like, why are you trying to fuck the doll? But I was like, yeah, I do. And like immediately she was like, I told you, like to my grandfather.
It was out.
It was apparently like they, she must have busted him at one point going like, do you keep turning the doll around? He was like, why the fuck would I do that? And
He's like, die!
I snapped my grandmother's neck because of my shame. For 8 years, this dude, Wesley Eure, was in the NBC's Emmy-winning Days of Our Lives, playing the role of Mike Horton. He also appeared as Will Marshall in Sid and Marty Krofft's children's adventure series Land of the Lost for 3 years. He co-produced, wrote, and acted in Fox Television's hidden camera shows, Totally Hidden Video, and Payback. Oh, this dude's fucking doing well. You don't need your help. He also wrote and directed Spy TV for NBC. He was the host of Nickelodeon game show Finders Keepers. Do you remember that show?
Nah.
He co-created PBS Kids Emmy-winning animated series for preschoolers called Dragon Tales.
Oh, that I do remember.
Yeah,
oh, he's got
Flanagan's
money.
Kid was fucking in love with Dragon Tales. Dragon Tales, Dragon Tales. All right, so yeah, he's loaded, dude. He's not like, fucking after Will, it was all downhill. He's like, are you kidding me? He's like,
that was a low point. He was in the comedy called Chomps, which also starred Valerie Bertinelli, Red Buttons, Jim Backus. Oh, look at these names.
It was about a dog, wasn't it? Chomps? Was it like a robotic dog or something like that?
Let's go a little bit further down the fucking.
I know, we just keep falling down the rabbit hole. It has produced Dragon Tales, meaning they might still be doing it, for the Children's Television Workshop and Sony Pictures. But it was very popular. He also hosted an educational DVD called Power Over Poison to teach kids how to avoid poisons. He was a regular on such game shows as Password and Match Game. Oh shit, dude. That's what we missed out on. Like now we got a little bit of TV credibility with fucking comic book men.
The quasi-celeb appearances in game shows.
Where are the game show years for us? How come there's no Match Game for you?
Or even like a Circus of the Stars, right?
They did ask me to go on. Yes. How come we're not fucking Battle and Network Stars?
Yeah, Battle and Network Stars.
AMC versus CBS.
Well, now they have shit like diving. Like people like, what a weird concept. And if somebody ever brought that to me, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here, idiot.
I'll jump. I'll cannonball, but that's
a can opener.
Is that good enough? Like, not by half, sir. But it's true, man. Like fucking, there's a game show that's starting, I think, this summer. Jane Lynch's like Hollywood party game thing, something. I don't know. It's kind of like they play board games with normal people and film it in the parlor. So it's like Jane Lynch and, fucking, Maya Rudolph, and you're playing Pictionary with them.
People have too much time to watch shit like this.
It's coming out in the summer. They asked me to do that show, and that's the closest I've ever been asked to like, hey, do you want to do a fucking, old timey game show?
Yeah.
But there needs
like
to be more of that.
You could be JP Morgan. You could be Artie Johnson.
If there was I could be fucking, Charles Nelson Riley, man. Like
Rex Reed.
He didn't earn it. He should have been there, man. There was a period where Rex Reed was like, he was getting a lot of mainstream press. For a critic, especially. Like, he must have hated fucking Siskel and Ebert. Cause up until Siskel and Ebert, he was the Mac. Like whenever people said movie reviewer, they'd be like, oh, like Rex Reed. He was in Superman, Dick Downer Superman. He's walking out of the Daily Planet, or walking in when Lois Lane and Clark Kent are walking out or something like that. But this was a dude who was like, I've got it tied up. I'm the Weird Al Yankovic of film criticism.
No, there's no one else like me out there.
I'm the brandest of brand names. And then along come the fucking Siskel and Ebert, man, the heavy dude and the little dude, the common man. Yeah. Neither of them speaking. Like Rex Reed always kind of spoke down to you.
He always in a tux too. He was always in a fancy outfit.
Pants and shit. Whereas these cats, he's wearing a sweater. He's bald over here. This guy, they look like Johnny Sixpack and Sally Lunchpail and shit. And suddenly America embraces them. And Rex Reed, like, falls off the map. Nobody, like, he's no longer short for the next 30 years.
He can't even book $20,000 pyramid.
But he goes from the gold standard of when you think of film criticism, you think of this guy, to like, I don't know if you say Rex Reed's people now, most cats are just like, huh?
Yeah, they wouldn't know who the fuck you're talking about.
But you say Siskel and Ebert, most cats would be like, well, some cats of this generation would be like, Siskel, I don't know who that is. But Ebert, they'd still remember Ebert, but he became the brand name in film criticism.
Wesley was in Chomps. This is that Hanna-Barbera thing we were talking about.
Yeah.
An acronym for Canine Home Protection System.
I told you it was about.
But home is HOM, so that's how I guess it got to be Chomps.
It's about like a robot dog, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Wait a second. Hold on. Yeah. Part of a home protection system. Conrad Bain is a boss who constantly argues with his daughter. They develop a relationship. Oh, it looks like it's a regular dog though.
Right.
Looks like it could be a regular dog. The critical appraisal was Benji. He's not. Ooh, it says when it didn't do well at the box office that, Chomps was euthanized. No.
You're done, dog. Yep, yep, yep.
No sequel for you, Chunks.
We gotta run. They're killing dogs now. Look at this. This is a sad little footnote, man. According to his website in a recent interview, Eure and his Land of the Lost co-star Kathy Coleman will no longer have cameo appearances in the 2009 film Land of the Lost starring Will Ferrell, as they were edited out of the final cut. So Will
that's
and
not that
Holly,
sad for him.
yeah, really. At the end of the day, he's probably like, we dodged a bullet there, Holly. His children's novel, The Red Wings of Christmas, published by Pelican, has been called the new American classic by CNN and was optioned for Disney for a full-length feature film. The book was illustrated by Ron Palillo.
Oh, old Horseshack, huh?
That's right, Arnold Horseshack.
There's, did you have, Holly? Kathy, what was her name? Kathy Coleman.
Kathy Coleman.
Did you have, I've read a lot of times, like people who go to these cons and shit, that they had a crush on her.
Really?
Like, do you remember having a crush on her?
On Holly particularly? No,
yeah.
She wore those ponytails.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, those like pigtail things.
Yeah. Not like, I'm better than her. I can do better, but she just wasn't my speed.
Yeah, plus you're so young at the time.
Yeah.
But,
and plus, if like I.
Well, this is Holly now.
Right on. She didn't age too poorly. She's got to be what, 51?
Nah, older than that probably, right?
She was born in 1962.
She had those big choppers as a kid too.
She was born in 1962.
So she's 5 years, so she's 50. Yeah.
She's how much older than you?
I know.
Conceivably.
Like close to 50. Like that's fucked
track
up.
her down, man, and be like, hey.
Please fuck me. Nobody else will fuck me.
Excuse me?
Oh, you know where I can find Chaka? I wonder what it's like, do you think it was on Land of the Lost? Was it like, Brady Bunch where there was all sorts of like hormones pumping and shit?
Like it ain't a fucking day on the Land of the Lost set unless everyone's got everyone else's dicks in their mouths, right,
Yeah.
everybody?
It was just a fucking orgy.
Harley, right?
Harley, you guys watch Harley, yep. Harley, ever hear Chaka? Harley.
Me, Bryan, me want berries.
I'm her uncle. Harley. Oh, good Lord.
No, she likes me, right?
These are people putting fucking, like I Google Kathy Coleman and like a bunch of people have like their pictures of their kids on here.
Like, how dare you not be the real Kathy Coleman?
I mean, come on.
The one I'm looking for.
Adam Rich. Is he still alive? There's a picture of Kathy Coleman and Adam Rich. It is enough.
Oh,
Adam's
together
Rich.
back in the day. Could you
Mhm.
imagine? Like, we're the kings of fucking television,
yeah.
bitch. You got Saturday mornings. I've got fucking Thursday, Wednesday nights, whatever
Yeah,
it is.
got that shit locked up.
Oh my God, we're going to live forever.
Oh, come on.
Well, I mean, you look at Kathy Coleman's Wikipedia page. It says occupation actress, years active, 1974 to 1976.
And that's
Narrow
it,
window.
huh?
That's why when you're like, I can't believe she's not the only Kathy Coleman or the top choice on Google. I mean, she worked for 2 fucking years, dude.
Like my name comes up before Kathy Coleman when I Google Kathy Coleman.
I mean,
look at that. Angela Cartwright from Lost in Space.
She looks good in that picture.
Mm-hmm.
You may, I mean, in terms of like level or degree of celebrity, I wonder if you might have now put in enough time to be equal, if not surpass a Kathy Coleman.
Or even a Wesley.
I don't know about Wesley because he's got
he created
dragon tails. Yeah,
that's
you're
true.
fucked. You're
Yeah.
never going to fucking ride his dragon tail. But Kathy Coleman, she worked for 2 years from 1974 to 76, and her only jobs, Land of the Lost. She had an appearance on Adam 12. I think it could be said that you are about as famous, if not more famous, than a Kathy Coleman. And I'm not just saying, well, sure, to this generation. I mean, even if you compared it on a scale, like the biggest hit she had was, Adam 12 was a guest spot, and that's pretty popular, but Land of the Lost, 2 seasons.
That's what people remember her from.
Yeah.
As a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got her beat.
You think so?
I think I bested her, yeah. There's somebody out there, like there would be geeks at a Comic-Con. Like, fuck you fucking comic book man, piece of shit.
How the fuck do you think you are? You're no Kathy Coleman, you fucking troll.
You're the troll.
No, you're the troll. No, you are.
Oh my God, Bryan won.
Well,
He won in his battle against the internet.
I did?
The first. Balloons drop.
I think the thing is, it's like people, and I know this is the way it is for me, like you feel like your life was so much better at a certain point, and that's where all of your nostalgia comes from. Like your most favorite nostalgia comes from, like for me, it's the point of like say 1972 to 1980.
Right.
You know, that eight.
Do you feel it was better though? Like I never look back and go, shit was better then and shit's worse now. I just go, shit was different then, or I liked it a lot because I was young. I think about it the same way I think about Star Wars. Why, you know, some people got outraged over those 3 newer movies, episodes 1, 2, and 3. And, you know, hey, raped our childhood. I didn't feel that. Like I was like, no, I like those movies the way I liked them.
Yeah.
Because I was a kid. And if I'd seen these 3 new movies then as a kid,
you would have liked them.
Yeah, and I would have loved Jar Jar, I'm sure. Just like kids in the movie theater I saw it with were like, he's funny.
I'm so racist.
So I don't know. Like I don't feel that like, oh, shit's fucking worse now.
Well, I felt like I enjoyed it more. And I also feel like, I mean, I look at kids today and I'm like, my niece, it's like, you'll never know what life was like without even a cell phone.
Yeah.
Like cell phones and iPads. And like she has an iPad and she does all kinds of shit with it. That like my mother can't even still fucking figure out. Like I'm trying to FaceTime with the kid the other day and my mother, like, I'm like, what is your iTunes sign-in name? And she gives me her password 3 times. I'm like, what? Are you fucking retarded? Like, what the fuck, man? She's and like, that's old manny. Like that's old woman.
I gave birth to you.
Yeah. I'm like, shut up. Shut up and tell me your handle. But you're just like, that's the kind of like it's always on the phone too. If I'm like, hey, can you do this? Can you find this? And they're both like doddering, Pam and Edgar.
Doddering. So a lot of folks, been asking on Twitter, what are you doing with all the Y-Bry shows that you guys are recording? Now would be the time, I guess, to tell them. Tell them what we're doing with all the Y-Bry shows.
We are going to create an album, a record album. Well, not really a record album, but we
can do both.
A digital album.
We could do a digital album, then we could do a souvenir record album.
That would be fun, yeah.
Yeah. Pressing, if you will. Actually, we couldn't because it would have to be a fucking like 5 album set because you only get about half an hour.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And
I couldn't believe how short it was. Yeah, when we did
it's fucking crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like 22 minutes per each side. Yeah.
So it would have to be like a 45-minute fucking selection. Or what you do is we just record a very special Y-Bry.
Yeah.
Like with like a guest of Muse or something like that, or blah blah blah, and that becomes like the album version of it. But what we're doing first is collecting the Y-Bry shows we've done into one digital album, the kind of the way that the Tesdy Boys sell the Christmas album. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So where do they go to get it?
Well, I'm still talking to Jordan. We're going to either do iTunes or Bandcamp, one of the two. And it won't be that expensive, and I think there'll be 4 shows on it.
Can you do both iTunes and Bandcamp?
I think you probably could. Yeah, I think you probably could. Once we know, we'll tweet it and talk about it and all that stuff. And
a lot of cats are, they've been looking for these episodes. I'm sure be like, what? Fucking pay for a podcast? Blah, blah, blah. But this is, Bry's podcast, man. This is how Bry's making a little fucking coinage and shit.
I already know what I'm going to use a bunch of the money for. Evidently it's very therapeutic for special needs kids to ride horses. So they have like programs where,
really?
Yeah, where you can send the kid to like go take horseback riding lessons. And she loves horses. She's super into horses already. So
you bring Sage.
I'm going to, send her to, it's like a camp. It's like a couple days a week or something where she goes and rides horses, and then I'll pay for a couple other kids to do it too, I guess. Use some of the proceeds.
Sweet. I am not a special needs person, but I would never get on a horse. Like that to me, it seems even more terrifying.
I've been on a horse a couple times. I don't find it that fun. It bounces a lot, so it's smashing your balls.
High up.
You're high up. My horse was like, he was a rogue. When I went horseback riding, he was supposed to stay in the line, and he went out of the line and he started, biting a tree for no reason. And then when he got back in the line, he got so close to the other horse got mad and like started kicking at him. And I was like, he's going to kick him in the fucking teeth I'm going to fall over like in a Western where the horse falls on the guy, but he gets out. But like, it's going to break every rib I have and puncture a lung or something, you know?
Oh, Buttercup, get off me.
Stop. They're still going moseying down the trail. They don't even know I've fallen over.
Oh, God. I think my rib is in a lung.
Blood bubbles coming out of my nose.
Giddy up.
Buttercup. Fuck off. God damn it.
Hi, old Buttercup. Get off of me.
Yeah, I don't get horses, man. Some people really dig them. They want to brush them. They want to take care of them. They want to have a horse.
Not me.
Yeah, no, me neither.
I like looking at them and shit every once in a while. Like, right on, fucking horses. Like, periodically, you gotta recharge the batteries, refill the cup, and go see things that you know about but don't see every day and shit.
I really don't care about, but
it's not in your wheelhouse. But still, you got every once in a while, you gotta behold the majesty of a fucking horse. Like, there's that wonderful scene in Michael Clayton, the movie with George Clooney, where he just pulls his car over in the middle of nowhere and just fucking gets out to go look at these wild horses that are just kind of standing in a field and shit. And spoilers. I mean, it happens right at the beginning of the movie, and they put it in the trailer 2 years ago, but fucking, it's because of doing that. He's not in the car when the car bomb goes off and shit like that.
Oh, really?
But it's represented really nicely where it's just like, yeah, man, like fucking every once in a while. And you don't have to be a stoner to every once in a while be like, holy shit, a fucking horse, man. Cause it's weird. You look at them and it's like, you're seeing dogs and cats and even when dogs get really big, they're not nearly close to horse size. You see these majestic,
hardly even pony size,
barely, and they got these massive fucking muscles, and like
not like a nag, not like something that's heading for the glue factory, like a fucking
that would make you sad.
Yeah,
you're gonna be glue, and that's the story of you.
If you're lucky, maybe you'll be dog food.
Like, whatever happened to Brian Johnson? They're like, he hangs out near the glue factory, yelling,
laughing,
yelling at horses. What's he yelling about? Mostly that he was right.
Huh. There's a glue factory nearby enough that
who is this guy?
He out there again?
He's picking fights with the nags. Now, I know we're just going to kill him and make glue, but this seems unusually cruel.
This is inhumane. It doesn't have to be this way.
All right. So why Bry, for those who have been asking, man, why Bry is going to be available pretty damn soon. We'll let you know. Follow the Tell Him Steve Dave Twitter feed, which is Tell Him Steve Dave, or follow my Twitter feed and we'll let you know as soon as it's out there. But I think we're going with some fan originated cover art, man. So sooner or later, man, probably within the next, by mid-July or the end of July, maybe right after Comic-Con.
If we need to wait for Comic-Con, it'll be right after that. If not, it'll be within the next week or two.
Then the most be the Why Bry compilation album, man, which you'll be able to check out and hear all those shows that you've been missing. Good stuff, man. So the last show, particularly at the Ontario Improv, I thought was really wonderful.
Really great audience. They were like super enthusiastic.
Totally. I mean, you could go anywhere and they followed. It was really great stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, you'll be able to hear that pretty darn soon. Meantime, listen to John Cione, any chance you get every week on Tell Him Steve Dave. You'll be able to watch him very soon. Comic Book Men season 3 is returning in the fall, I believe, around the same time as Walking Dead. So when they're back, we'll be back. Boy, you guys start shooting when? Pretty soon.
July 8th, I think. 7th or 8th.
Well, that'll do it, kids. That's a very rambling fucking Wikipedia oriented, black holes of Wikipedia oriented Smodcast for this week. I'm Kevin Smith.
And Bryan Johnson.
Have a week.
This has been a production of Smodco Internet Radio. Sir, only at smodcast.com.